Look down at the bowl on your kitchen floor right now. Go on. That little dish, the one you fill without thinking, the one your cat trots over to the second she hears the cabinet open. That bowl is the single most powerful medical instrument in your entire house. More powerful than any pill I could hand you. More powerful than the fanciest machine in my clinic. And most people, good people, loving people, use it completely wrong for 18 years and never know. I want you to picture two cats, same breed, same litter even. Two brothers. One of them lives to be 9 years old, and by 7 he's already stiff, already heavy, already sleeping 22 hours a day. The other one is out on the windowsill at 19, still lean, still jumping, still watching birds with those sharp eyes. Same genes, same everything. The only real difference between those two lives sat on the kitchen floor. It was the bowl. What went in it, how much, and how often. And here's what I need you to hear before anything else. What best protects your cat isn't an expensive visit to me. It's something already sitting in your kitchen, right next to the refrigerator. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Stay with me, because I'm going to give you the single biggest lever early, right up front, no burying it at the end. I'm Dr. Aurelio. I've been an old-school cat vet for a long time, and I've spent a lot of nights in that clinic with families who did everything out of love and still lost their cat years too soon. Not because they were careless, because nobody ever told them the truth about that bowl. So let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you how you help a cat live to 18, 20, and beyond, starting with the one object you touch every single day. First, let me break a belief you probably hold. There's this idea that a cat is basically a small dog, that you can leave a big bowl of dry food out all day, keep it topped up, and let her graze whenever she feels like it. It feels kind. It feels generous. Free choice all day. Help yourself. And it is one of the quietest killers I see. I'll come back to why. But hold on to that image of the always full bowl, because it's at the center of almost everything that shortens a cat's life. That full bowl feels like love. Very often it's the opposite. Now here it is. The payoff. Early, like I promised. If you do one thing, to add years to your cat's life, do this. Feed her like the animal she actually is. A cat is a true carnivore, not mostly a carnivore, not a carnivore who enjoys the occasional salad. An obligate carnivore, which means her entire body, from her teeth to her gut to the way her liver processes fuel, is built to run on animal protein and animal fat. She is designed to eat prey. Little animals, mostly meat, mostly water. That is the machine you are feeding. So the single biggest thing you can do at that bowl is prioritize high-quality animal protein and get the cheap fillers out. Look at what you're pouring. If the first ingredients are corn, wheat, and a wall of grain, you are feeding a carnivore like she's a chicken. Her body can limp along on it for years, sure. But limping along and thriving to 19 are two very different roads. A cat-fed real, meat-first protein holds her muscle as she ages. And muscle, on an old cat, is life. It's the difference between the cat, who can still jump onto the bed at 16, and the cat who's stranded on the floor, looking up at you. Think about what her body is actually asking for. In the wild, a cat eats a mouse, a bird, a small animal, and she gets almost pure protein and fat, with a trickle of carbohydrate along for the ride. That's the fuel she's tuned for. Her liver, unlike yours, is built to burn protein as its main energy source, constantly, all day. She isn't designed to run on a big load of grain and starch the way we are. So when the bowl is mostly filler, you're not just skimping on quality. You're feeding the wrong fuel into an engine that was built for something else, and asking it to run smoothly for 20 years anyway. Some engines manage, many wear out early. You'll see the difference on her own body if you know where to look. Run your hand down her spine and along her back legs. On a cat, eating right and moving, you feel firmness there, a little engine of muscle over the hips and thighs. On a cat, quietly wasting on the wrong diet, those back legs go thin and slack while the belly may actually hang heavier. Thin engine, heavy tank. That's a warning you can feel with your own hand tonight. And the fix starts in the bowl, with better protein and less filler. Ask your veterinarian which specific food fits your cat's age and health, because that part is individual, and a kitten, a healthy adult, and a senior with something going on all have different needs. But the direction, more real meat, fewer fillers, is the road to a longer life. Read the label the way you'd read one for your own child. If the first thing on the list is a grain, put it back and find one where the first thing is meat. Now let me give you the signs and the moves that stack on top of that, because the bowl is a lever with more than one arm. And stay with me, because the last one is the one almost nobody thinks about, and it's the one that quietly steals the most years. The second lever is the amount, portion control against fat. And I have to be honest with you, this is where love does the most damage. That soft belly, that extra weight, the little pouch that swings when she walks, we call it cute. We say she's fluffy. She's not fluffy. She's carrying a load her joints, her heart, and her organs were never built to carry. An overweight cat is not a happy accident of a well-fed home. It is slowly, over years, a sick cat in the making. Extra weight on a cat dramatically raises the risk of the diseases that end feline lives early, the sugar disease, the joint pain, the organ strain. Every extra ounce is a tax her body pays every single day. And here's the cruel part. Your cat cannot ration herself. That instinct to eat whenever food is present is ancient, from a time when the next meal was never guaranteed. So when you leave the bowl full all day, you're not offering freedom. You're handing a loaded plate to an animal with no off switch. The portion has to come from you. Measure it. Not a heaping scoop by feel, a measured amount, split into meals. Ask your veterinarian for the right daily amount for your cat's weight and health, because the number is different for every cat and I will never make one up for you, but the principle doesn't change. You control the portion. She never can. And let me hand you the simple test I use, because most people genuinely can't tell if their own cat is overweight. They see her every day, so the weight creeps up invisibly, an ounce a season, until fat looks normal. So don't trust your eyes. Trust your hands. Put both hands gently over her rib cage, along her sides. On a cat at a healthy weight, you can feel her ribs with light pressure, like feeling the back of your own hand. Not sharp, not jutting out, but there, right under a thin layer. If you have to press and dig to find them, she's carrying too much. And look at her from above, standing over her. You want to see a gentle tuck behind the ribs, a little waist. If she's an oval from shoulder to tail, if she's shaped like a loaf of bread, that's weight. That's the tax I told you about. And the beautiful part is, the same bowl that put it on can take it off, slowly, safely, with the portion under your control and your veterinarian guiding the pace. Never crash diet a cat on your own though, ever. Cats are one of the only animals where dropping weight too fast can trigger a serious separate problem, so the how matters as much as the whether. Ask your vet to set the speed, but start by knowing, with your own hands, where she really stands. Now the third lever, and this one surprises almost everybody, water. Not the water dish, though that matters. Water inside the food. Remember what I told you. Your cat is built to eat prey, and prey is mostly water. A live mouse is roughly 70% water. That's how a cat's body expects to take in most of its fluid, through its food. Not through a bowl of water it wanders over to now and then. Cats evolved in dry places. Their thirst signal is weak. It is deliberately weak because nature expected them to get their water from what they ate. So when a cat lives its whole life on nothing but dry food, it walks a fine line of quiet, low-grade dehydration for years. Not enough to see, just enough to grind on the body day after day, decade after decade. That's the whole pattern with cats, isn't it? Never a scream, always a whisper. This is why so many of us push wet food, the pouches, the cans, into the diet. It's not a luxury, it's not spoiling her, it's putting the water back where a cat's body expects to find it, inside the meal. If your cat eats only dry, Adding wet food is one of the most protective changes you can make at that bowl. And notice, again, it lives right there in your kitchen. Not in my clinic. In your kitchen, next to the refrigerator. And let me give you the little tricks I tell families in the clinic, because getting more water into a stubborn cat is half the battle. A wide, shallow dish for her water instead of a deep, narrow one, because a cat hates it when her whiskers press against the sides. A bowl kept away from the food, not right beside it, because cats instinctively don't like to drink where they eat. Fresh water, changed daily, because a cat's nose is far sharper than yours, and stale water reads as wrong to her. Some cats drink far more from a moving source, a little fountain, than from a still bowl. None of this costs much. All of it nudges the same needle. More water in, less quiet strain on the body over a long life. Small moves, big years. Let me show you the moment this all connects, the why underneath the whole thing, because here's the reframe I want to hand you. When you feed a cat wrong, it doesn't look like a poisoning. It looks like nothing. That's the trap. A cat fed on cheap filler, free-fed all day, on nothing but dry food, does not fall over. She looks fine. She looks fine at 3. She looks fine at 5. She's just a little heavier, a little slower, a little less bright in the coat. And then one day at 7 or 8, the bill comes due all at once, and it looks like it came out of nowhere. It didn't. It was built one full bowl at a time. That's the thing about the silent mistakes. They don't announce themselves. Free feeding doesn't feel like harm. It feels like generosity. The all-dry diet doesn't feel like harm. It feels convenient, and the cat seems to like it. Skipping the yearly checkup doesn't feel like harm, because she looks perfectly healthy. None of these feel like anything on the day you do them. They only add up. And a cat is the single best animal on earth at hiding trouble. It's not that she's tough. It's that in the wild, a small predator who shows weakness becomes prey, so she hides it. She hides it right up until she can't. By the time you see the problem, the body has usually been fighting it for a long, long time. That's why what you do at the bowl every ordinary day matters more than any dramatic rescue later. Now I want to talk about the mouth, because this is the lever people forget entirely, and it costs cats years. Dental care. Think about it. Everything, all that good food, has to pass through her teeth and gums every single day. And dental disease in cats is not just bad breath. That fishy breath everyone jokes about is not normal. It's the smell of infection. When the gums are inflamed and the teeth are rotting, that's not only pain, real, grinding, daily pain that your cat will hide from you completely. It's a steady leak of infection and inflammation into the whole body, day after day, for years. A rotten mouth is a slow drain on the entire animal. And here's what breaks my heart about it. A cat with a painful mouth will keep eating. She'll eat right through it, because the drive to eat is stronger than the pain. So you never see her stop. You just see, maybe, that she's a little pickier, or she chews on one side, or she drops a piece and comes back to it. Maybe she paws at her face, or she flinches when you touch her cheek, or she starts preferring the soft food and turning up her nose at the hard, tiny things, easy to write off as her just being fussy. Meanwhile, the mouth is on fire. And think about what that constant low fire is doing over years. Inflamed, infected gums aren't a sealed-off problem up in the mouth. That inflammation feeds into the bloodstream, a small, steady burden the whole body has to carry, every day, for as long as the mouth stays sick. It's one more quiet tax, running in the background, wearing the animal down while she gives you no clear signal at all. So look. Actually look in there once in a while. Lift the lip gently and check. Angry red along the gum line, brown or yellow buildup crusted on the teeth, a tooth that looks loose or discolored, that heavy, rotten smell. Those are not small things. Those are years, quietly leaking away. Some cats will even let you get them used to a little toothbrushing over time, if you go slow and gentle, and that habit pays off for a lifetime. But at minimum, ask your veterinarian about a dental check and a proper cleaning, because a clean, healthy mouth isn't cosmetic. It is one of the pillars holding up a long life, right alongside the food that passes through it. Let me put all of it together now, because I promised you the last piece is the one almost nobody thinks about. Here it is, the checkup, not the emergency visit. The boring, nothing's wrong, she seems fine yearly visit. That's the one people skip, because who drives a healthy cat to the vet? And that skip, that reasonable, understandable skip, is one of the quietest life shorteners of them all. Remember, she hides everything. So the whole point of a checkup on a healthy-looking cat is to catch the thing she's hiding before it's a crisis. A quiet shift in weight the scale sees before you do. A whisper of a change in an organ, something in the blood work that turns up long before you'd ever see a symptom at home, back when there's still real room to act. That's the gift of it. A cat's year is worth several of ours, so a great deal can change inside her between visits, and she'll tell you none of it. The vet's exam and the simple lab work are how you get a look under the hood while everything can still be steered. Caught early, so much can be slowed, managed, turned around, and often at little cost. Caught late, when she finally can't hide it anymore, the doors are mostly closed, and what's left is expensive and heartbreaking and so often too little. As cats get older, once they're past that middle stretch of life, that yearly visit matters even more. And your veterinarian may want to see her more often and look a little deeper. That's not them upselling you. That's them trying to catch the hidden thing while there's still time to act. Now let me answer the person in the back with their arms crossed, because I hear you. You're thinking, my grandmother's cat ate table scraps and cheap dry food its whole life and made it to 17. And you know what? You're right, some do. Genetics deals some cats a very strong hand, and they get away with things that would sink another cat. But you don't know the hand your cat was dealt. You can't see her genes. All you can control is the bowl and the checkup. Playing those two well doesn't guarantee 19. Nothing does. But it stacks the deck as hard as it can possibly be stacked in her favor. And playing them badly and getting lucky is not a plan. It's a coin flip with your cat's life. And let me be clear about what is and isn't an emergency here, because I never want to send you into a panic. Changing the diet, adding wet food, measuring the portion, booking the dental check and the yearly visit, none of that is a run out the door at midnight thing. You can start this week, you can call in the morning. This is the calm, everyday work of a long life, not a crisis. The one thing I'd never have you wait on is a cat who has genuinely stopped eating or is straining and in obvious distress. And those are their own separate conversations. For everything in this bowl talk, though, breathe. You have time. You just have to start. I never ever want you to make a food change and then, an hour later, do something drastic on your own because you read a number somewhere. For how much, for which food, for any supplement, for anything you'd measure out, ask your veterinarian for the right amount for your cat's weight and your cat's health. That part is individual, and I won't invent it for you. What I'll tell you is the direction, and the direction is clear. So let me put the whole thing in your hands, simply, before you go. Better protein, less filler. A measured portion instead of a bottomless bowl. Water put back into the food with something wet. A mouth you actually check instead of ignore. And a boring yearly visit for a cat who looks perfectly fine. 5 levers. All of them running through that one small dish on your floor, and one phone call a year. That's it. That's the whole secret to the 18-year cat, the 20-year cat, and it was sitting in your kitchen the entire time. And if you're standing there right now feeling a little guilt, thinking about the years you left the bowl full all day, thinking about the dry food and the skipped visits, I want you to set that down. You didn't know. Nobody told you. You were feeding her the way love told you to feed her, and love is never the wrong instinct. It just needs the right information. And now you have it. So do the best you can with what you've got, starting with the very next time you fill that dish. That's how the old-timers, the ones who kept a cat curled by the stove for 2 decades, cared for their animals. That's how it's still done, quietly, faithfully, one measured bowl at a time, in every single home that truly loves a cat. So tell me, down in the comments. Walk over and look at your cat's bowl right now, tonight. What's in it? And how full is it? Take a real look, and tell me the first thing you're going to change.